is often something people use as an excuse why something can't be done or why a campaign can't move in a certain direction. People might often use, well, you have to be realistic, we can't do this or something else. I often think that realistic is used as a negative.
It could be as a cover, but when you're realistic, you're saying in terms of your campaign planning how it can be done. That's what you're bringing. Your realism is, yeah, but you're not taking into consideration this, this, and this. And I checked into this, and they say if we do this, then we'll go over here. So the realistic means you've done your homework and you know the process. But if you are afraid to take on power, then you can come up with a whole lot of excuses why you can't do this campaign. So let's talk about SWOT analysis. S. That stands for, and you do this for both us and them. And for those of you who don't get the shorthand, them are the bad guys. Yeah. So we want to know, what are our strengths? What do we bring to this fight that's going to make us, tough? So we have to do an inventory of what our strengths are. Then we also got to look at them. What do they have that they can use to try to bust us upside the head, so that you know when you go in what's happening? And you make us an assessment. Is this something that we, even if we don't have it now, we can get? Because we got allies and resources here that if we can pull into the fight, then we'll have all these and they'll only have those. Can we do that and win? Next thing, equally as important, W, we have to look at our weaknesses. Where are we hurting? Where are we short? What else do we need? Do they have so many weaknesses that it overshadows their strengths? That's where we say, ha ha, yes, that looks good. Okay, well, let's keep going. Let's consider this. What are the opportunities that we have to build this movement? What can we do to grow? That'll be a good way to get these folks here into our fight, because these are the opportunities to do outreach and to get other people involved. Same thing for them. What opportunities do they have to try to, put some landmines under our effort? Because they're not playing, you messing with their money, or you messing with their power, or you messing with their ego. And that can be a deadly combination for the unprepared. And the last thing is that you have to look at what the threats are. Because since you messing with them, they're going to come after you. You got to weigh that. Can you handle that? That's part of getting a realistic appraisal of whether or not you got what's necessary to take on people to win. You have to craft a program that allows them to utilize their resources, allows them to focus in on stuff, allows them to achieve a series of victories and not waste their time. One, it should have a theme. A theme, something that capsulizes what your efforts are all about. They got to be able to look at it and say, yeah, that sounds good. So if your theme clicks, you got it. If it's too intellectual and they got to sit down and get a dictionary to understand what the theme is, then no, it ain't working. So theme is critical. Next thing after your theme is that you got to spend your time coming up with your targets. Your targets come out of your SWOT analysis. Whose soft underbelly can you throw a good punch in and get away? The next thing, an important thing, is that you have to look to build coalitions. Coalitions of allies who you can get on your side that support your basic theme or your campaign. Because there's a role that everybody can play in winning other people to your mission. Internal communications are very important. Ongoing, constant communication so that people feel part of this effort. And then external communications, you want to have the bad guys chasing you, which means you got to be out front on the issues. All of those type of things, you are the one taking the message. Your tactics have to fit into your strategy because your tactics are designed to move things further closer to your strategy victory. And that's the way you evaluate it. You're going to do a particular tactic, you got to have a goal in mind. Right? And then you go back and evaluate. Did you get what you said you wanted to get? If the answer is no, you deconstruct it, look, go back through your SWOT analysis. What did we do wrong? And then you make the changes and you come out again. All campaigns should be timed out. That is, from week to week what you're doing, why you're doing it, and what you're going to achieve at the end of that week. The next week is built upon what you did successfully the week before. Something you got to do consistently is that you got to evaluate. You got to evaluate what you're doing. Is it working? Does it make sense? Are you achieving your objectives? Because if you don't evaluate, again, you can spend a whole lot of time and get very little done. First, you seize the initiative. When you're ready to strike, you don't wait for nobody. You strike. Second thing is big picture. You got to map the big picture. You got to do all this work. That needs to be down on paper somewhere, not in somebody's mind. Stay flexible. Next one. You may have to change up as the bad guys change. Make your struggle a struggle for social justice and human rights. You got to involve the people. So make your struggle broad. And that you stay visible. You need people who become the poster persons or family or children of the campaign. Plan to win. And finally, nothing beats success. So you have to craft your thing so that you can claim victory when necessary. Even if you haven't reached your terminal objective, you're claiming victory and going to continue to fight down the road, but you want people cheering about the fact that the landlord has decided to come to the table to negotiate. I mean, that's a sense of real power that you have because you have come together. That's something that you can't buy. I mean, can you imagine what that is? Someone who wouldn't even say he wouldn't even waste his time talking to you is now going to sit down and negotiate? And when you're at the bargaining table and that person has to listen to you, that's what you want to create, that same sense of success in the minds of people who you bring into your campaigns, regardless of who they're talking to. That people who had no voice before, or whose voice was not listened to before, are now shouting in the face of authority and demanding their rights. That's what it's all about. That's what community organizing is. And that's why it's so important, because this country, this city, the world is not going to move forward unless people are on the ground, the grassroots level, raising hell and organizing communities. And that's what each one of you who's going to be a community organizer, who's going to be out there, need to take with you. That you are going to be the agent for change. Working with people, through people, things will change.